Hi everyone. It's a little late to this one, I will say, but we're back for another wrap-up video, and this time for the month of December 2023. So we are going to be wrapping up the final month of 2023, so we can finally put aside the entirety of 2023 and finally get to talking about 2024. So yeah, we're gonna start off with the movies that I watched last month. Most of them are rewatches, so we're only going to be covering the first time watches. Actually, I think there might be still like an equal amount of first time watches as there were rewatches. But either way, we're just gonna dive right into this, not waste any time. So yeah, if you're new to the channel, I'm Mike. Welcome back to this channel, of course. And yeah, if you love movies, if you want to talk movies with anybody, this is the perfect place for it. Please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. So yeah, let's dive into this probably really long video, but yeah, here we go. All right, so I ended up watching almost 90 movies last month, and it's insane. So we're only going to be covering the first time watches, like I said. So first thing first, I ended up watching Lost Highway twice. So this is the first time watch. This is one of David Lynch's movies, and David Lynch is slowly growing to be one of my favorite directors of all time. We'll talk about one of his other movies here in just a little bit, but um, yeah, I love Lost Highway. I think so far this is probably my favorite of his because um, it's it's equal amounts of crazy and weird, and also kind of hard to understand, but also at the same time easy to follow the main story. So yeah, this one gets an A+ for me. I think David Lynch is a fantastic director. I don't think I've ever seen another director like him. So yeah, I love Lost Highway. Same day that I watched Lost Highway for the second time, I ended up seeing John Woo's new American action movie, Silent Night. So he hasn't directed a movie in a little while. It's been a good number of years since he's done one for at least America. And this was kind of his return to American cinema, and this one was a strange one because I know a lot of people really did not like this movie. It has a really low Rotten Tomatoes score. I know a lot of critics really didn't like this one, but I enjoyed it honestly. It's a silent movie, as the title might suggest, but um, yeah, it's a pretty cool little action thriller. The main guy in it, I'm blanking on his name, but he's awesome in it. It's just kind of unfortunate that the movie is not like, it doesn't have the best script. Well, I mean, it's barely even got a script because there's no dialogue in it, but it just doesn't have like the strongest story or like the strongest villain that you could really ask for a movie like this. So yeah, it could have been better, honestly, but I do really like the movie, so I'll give it like a B minus. It was fun enough. And then I checked out the last of these, like this big stretch of David Lynch movies that I ended up watching. We have Mulholland Drive. So this one, um, it's kind of hard to describe this one because this movie is all over the damn place, man. Like this movie, it goes for it, and honestly, it succeeds in like flying colors, man. This is a crazy movie that I adored. Yeah, it's awesome. A+. Another David Lynch banger, and I believe that's my second favorite of his filmography that I have seen. So, yeah, I'm starting to absolutely love David Lynch. A couple days later, I ended up seeing Godzilla Minus One, and this movie is bordering on 5 stars for me because this movie is amazing. I did a review for it here on the channel, and I absolutely loved it, so go check out that review if you haven't, if you want my full thoughts. But I loved it. It was an awesome movie. A. Adored it. Um, Same day, checked out the original 1954 Godzilla. So this one is in black and white. I believe it's stop motion for what they did with Godzilla, like the effects. I could be wrong on that, but yeah. Anyway, really cool movie. Very effective little film. It's very much centered around war and the effects of nuclear warfare. You know, Godzilla is a lot more of a threat than he is in at least the American movies. Uh, he's the main antagonist, obviously, and it's a great little movie. B plus. And then I checked out the newest of the Diary of a Wimpy Kid animated movies. So this one is Cabin Fever. From what I remember, right, because I used to read these books when I was younger. I don't remember this one being particularly like similar to the book, but I don't know. It's been a long time since I've even read the book, so yeah. Anyway, this one it was a fun one, probably the best of the three, even though that's really not saying much because the other two are not very good. But this one it was fun. I enjoyed it. Nothing special, but it had some charm to it. So like a C plus. It was fine. And then I checked out It's a Wonderful Knife, and this one was a massive disappointment because I have been a fan of most of the, blend together concepts, like sci-fi concepts and whatever, and mash them with a horror movie. So like Happy Death Day, um, got uh, Groundhog Day and a slasher movie. You have Totally Killer, where it's Back to the Future in a slasher movie, and this was It's a Wonderful Life, but a slasher movie. And honestly, this movie just didn't work in any way because, you have like the killer reveal in like the first 15 minutes of the movie, which you don't want to do that for a slasher movie. And then the main concept is just really, really boring and just a slog to get through. And it just turns into something completely different by the end of the movie. And it just really didn't work, honestly. So unfortunately, I'll have to go with a C minus on that one. Kind of stinks to give it something like that, like a low score like that, but yeah, it is what it is. Merry Little Batman. So this one is a weird story because it was going to be an HBO Max slash Max movie, but then it got canned by WB, and then they put it onto Prime Video of all places, which is kind of strange considering the fact that you know um, WB owns HBO and Max, but either way, yeah, this was still produced by WB. Kind of weird that they still put it on there, but whatever. It's a cute little watch. 90 minutes. You just want to blow off 90 minutes. Check it out around the holidays. Cute time. Like a B for that one. I enjoyed it. I definitely did enjoy that. And then that Friday, Wonka released in theaters, and I love this movie. It's not perfect by any means, but it's definitely a great time that actually brought out the emotions a little bit in me. But yeah, stirred up the eyes a little bit. May or may not have cried a little bit by the end, but whatever. Good movie. Actually, really great movie. A minus for that one. Loved that one for sure. And then I checked out Bad Santa. Now this one was surprisingly extremely boring in my opinion. Honestly, I just found this one painfully unfunny. The entire movie was just the same joke after one after another, and honestly, I just found the jokes a little bit more offensive than normal with a comedy, even though comedies do typically try to, like classic comedies specifically, do try to go for the offensive stuff. And it's just like, it's kind of offensive, like somewhat offensive, but like didn't go for it and just played the jokes dead serious and just didn't make me laugh at all. It's a fun concept, but man, was it a slog to get through. C for that one. Um, then I checked out Quiz Lady on Hulu. So this one is a new Hulu original movie. This one came out a couple months ago, I believe in November now. I could be wrong. Um, so yeah, November was when it released. But yeah, it's a fun little comedy. Aquafina's in it, I believe. Sandra Oh is in it as well. It's fun. I had a good time with it, so I'll give that one a B. It was fun enough. But yeah, I had a good time with Quiz Lady. it was a fun comedy. Made me laugh a couple times. It was just really long. It felt like I'm not really sure why, but the pacing was just pretty slow for that one, unfortunately. Uh, then I checked out Chicken Run: Dawn of the Nugget. This one was actually one of my more anticipated movies of the end of the year, and from reviews that came out of what was it? British Film Festival. I don't know. I don't know if it was BFI or TIFF that had early reviews for it. But yeah, this one had some pretty positive reviews when it dropped in one of the film festivals, whatever it was. And honestly, this was just pretty disappointing. Honestly, it had a decent cast. I mean, whoever played Ginger in the first one didn't come back. I'm not sure if she passed away or something like that, but she didn't come back. And then, I mean, you can't get Mel Gibson to come back to this because he's Mel Gibson. But yeah, I mean Zachary Levi, he was fine in it. The chick who played Ginger in this one was fine. I liked the daughter a good bit though, Bella Ramsey. She was good in it, and I do really like Bella Ramsey. I mean, The Last of Us, she was phenomenal in that. I think she was a pretty decent voice actress in this one. It's just the story was very uninteresting and felt like a repeat of the first one in a lot of ways, which is kind of disappointing after, well, what, 23 years at this point that the first one came out. So yeah, it's just really disappointing that it just was kind of a rehash, but whatever. I'll give that one a C. And then I checked out Love Actually, like the supposed British film, like Christmas movie classic. I thought it was okay. It could have been way better, honestly, but I had a decent time with it. It was whatever. I had a good enough time with it. I laughed a couple times. It's not really my style of humor. It's just kind of an awkward watch because there's a lot of really weirdly like sexual shenanigans going on in the movie that I'm not going to go into detail, but whatever. Um, a B minus for that one. It was moderately enjoyable. I liked it, I guess. And then the next day I saw Leave the World Behind on Netflix. So this was a new sci-fi thriller. I'm not sure who the director is, but Ethan Hawke was in it. I was interested because of Ethan Hawke and pretty much nothing else because Ethan Hawke and sci-fi go really well together. And it was pretty good. The ending really sours the movie, unfortunately, but I had a decent time with it up until the ending. The ending just kind of drops the ball a lot, unfortunately, but I was gonna go with like a B up until the ending, but yeah, the ending drops it down to like a B minus or a C plus. Probably gonna go like a B minus just to be nice. But yeah, I dug it. It was pretty good. And then I watched Fair Play, the Netflix movie that premiered at Sundance, I think at the beginning of last year. So, um, if you don't know, Sundance is a film festival that happens, I believe, in like January and February. So, usually every year they do it. They have like an online version and then an in person version, like in theaters. Like an Alamo Draft House or something like that. So it's a pretty cool festival. I want to go to one really badly, but I haven't been to one, unfortunately. I do I do want to go sometime, like I said, but yeah. Um, Fair Play went on Netflix. I I dug it. It was actually a pretty well executed movie. Not like best of the year or anything, but it was a pretty cool movie. Alden Ehrenreich gives a great performance. I don't remember who the other chick is that is in this movie. Who the chick is in this movie? The main girl. Um, Phoebe Dyn D- Dynevor. I don't know how to pronounce that, but anyway, she was great in the movie. It's a pretty intense little movie. Good dialogue, great performances. It's just some of the stuff in the beginning was a little awkward, just like kind of turned me off for a little bit. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Maybe a little bit better pacing, but yeah, I really liked it. And then I saw May December also on Netflix, and this just wasn't really for me. I know a lot of people really enjoyed it, but I don't know. This movie is just really not for me, and also kind of puts me in a bad mood every time I think about it because people are saying that this is a satire, but if you look at the premise and the context and like what this movie is actually about, the the fact that it's a satire just really grosses me out, and I don't know why something like this is a satire. Regardless, though, it's well acted, good dialogue. It's very prestigious, though, I will say, and really not wired for me. Just, yeah, there's just some really weird direction in it, too, though, that I just, like, didn't understand at all. Like, some really weird music cues and stuff like that. It's just, I don't know. Um, C for that one. Yeah. I think I'm comfortable giving it a C. And then I checked out Maestro on Netflix as well. This one is Bradley Cooper's second directorial outing, I believe, and it's about Leonard Bernstein, I believe, like a music composer. It's very similar to Tar. I could definitely see people comparing the two, even though I drastically prefer this one to Tar. But it's a debate for another day. Regardless, I really like this one actually. It gets a little bit more interesting as the movie goes on. It's like it's progressing from black and white to color, and the performances are fantastic. The dialogue's great. The music, because it's about film scores, or it's about like music in general. The music's bound to be great. Really love the direction as well. Very good movie. Pacing's a little slow though, and I will say the beginning isn't super interesting, and it gets, like I said, it gets interesting as it goes along. But I did really like it. A B for me. And then I checked out Good Burger 2 after a month of it being out, I believe. And I enjoyed it. Honestly, probably in terms of quality, like the best legacy sequel to a classic comedy that we've ever gotten, arguably. I'd say either this one or Anchorman 2. But yeah, this one, I had a good time with it. Seeing Keenan and Kel again is a lot of fun. All of the returning cast in general is just a lot of fun. There's some pretty fun cameos in it. The story, it kind of turns into a little bit of a rehash of the first at points, but other than that, it was a fun little movie. Some of the humor didn't really hit, but regardless, I had a good time. I love the first one, so uh, you know, if you don't have nostalgia for the first one, you probably won't like this one. If you do, like I do, you're probably gonna enjoy it. That's B minus. I liked it. Rebel Moon, Part One: A Child of Fire. So, this is an incomplete story. We only have Part One. There's Part Two coming out in April, I believe. In April is what they said it's when they said it's coming out. And then we're supposed to be getting a director's cut of this first part, and or maybe it's like the entire story. I have no clue how they're releasing this, but yeah, what a disappointment. I've already mentioned this one in my most disappointing list in my worst of 2023 video. And yeah, this is like the most disappointing movie of the year by far for me because I am an absolute Snyder fanboy. I'm not, like number one fan. I wasn't there day one rooting for the Snyder cut to come out because I'm not that kind of fan. I'm not the I'm not begging for, any sort of like Snyder cut or anything like that. I wasn't there even like when they announced when Snyder left the project for Justice League. So, yeah, even though I love most of his movies, I had no clue that was going on until, um, the actual Snyder Cut came out. I had no clue any of that was going on. But yeah, I love Snyder, and I've been following this movie since like day one, since it was announced, and I I'm mad at Netflix for this movie because, on one hand, you have Zack Snyder. He's a great filmmaker, in my opinion. He's got a very particular style, and he's gone through two movies at this point where he's been screwed over by the previous studio that he worked with, and where they cut down very like important stuff in his films, but still like called him the director and everything, give him full credit for everything. Like Justice League, he had the directorial credit for that movie. He still has on Letterboxd, actually. It is labeled as a Zack Snyder film and not a Joss Whedon film, but it is a Joss Whedon film. I don't care what anyone says. Um, Even though Zack Snyder's Justice League is, I mean, that is Zack Snyder. Anyway, I love Zack Snyder. He's been through a lot of stuff. And then, of course, the studio that he goes to, just so they can get a little bit extra money, extra views, they split up this movie into two parts, and they chopped this first part, at least, into pieces. I mean, cut it from a bloody R-rated movie, supposedly is what this was originally supposed to be, or at least this director's cut is supposed to be, and cut it into a PG-13 trailer almost for this actual version of the movie, which is so disappointing because this movie was marketed as, well, it was not marketed as, but it was originally a pitch to Disney for a Star Wars film that Zack Snyder was making, right? So you have like a Star Wars level story, you have a director that is more than capable of doing it, and what do? You cut it to pieces in the editing room and just you get this slog of a movie that just really didn't work, unfortunately, and it's just massively disappointing to me. I like the Zack Snyder stuff. I really like the beginning of the movie, like the first half hour, 45 minutes of the movie. I really enjoyed, and I love the action sequences. Everything else, I could give less of a crap about because it just didn't. I don't know. I don't know. The fact is, too, though, is that like half of the stuff that they edited out was character development, and there's like 50 minutes left of this first movie, at least, that they cut out in the editing room and just made it PG-13, and those 50 minutes were crucial, I will say. So I'll give this one a C. Honestly, this one is just more disappointing the more I think about it. Even though I'm excited for part two, I don't know if I can have as much excitement for it after seeing this, if this is what they're going to keep going for and then release director's cuts of these two movies. But regardless, I'm looking forward to part two because apparently this part two is supposed to be a good bit better, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, sorry for the big rant. I was going to do a video on this movie, but really I just didn't find motivation to talk about how disappointing this was. And honestly, I can't say that I don't like this movie because I think there are some things about it that I really enjoy. It's just unfortunately not what it could have been or what it should have been. So yeah, it just doesn't work as a whole. And then I watched Saltburn, the new Emerald Fennell movie, I believe, and it dropped on Prime, so I watched it, and it's weird as shit, but I liked it. It was pretty cool, well made, yeah, well acted. I liked it. It just gets really weird at points, kind of hard to follow, but yeah, I liked it. B. Sue me. It's pretty cool. And the ending is like amazing. Anyway, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. I know a lot of people really did not like this movie. I thought it was fine. It. I kind of enjoyed it. It's supposed to be the last movie of the DCEU before, James Gunn reboots everything. And honestly, it was fine. It's just disappointing that a movie like this ended up being the last movie in the DCU, and they didn't just like flip flop around like the release dates for certain movies, because like I don't know why they couldn't just have The Flash be the last DCU movie, have it released now and release Aquaman sometime in the summer, or Blue Beetle in the summer, and then have Aquaman come out the end of summer. Regardless, I just wish that they would have flipped around the schedule, and have something less like at least more of a bookend to this series of movies than Aquaman, because this movie wraps up literally nothing. There's no continued plot threads. If anything, it just makes more opened plot threads that aren't going to be continued because this series is coming to an end. It's just disappointing that they decided to do that. But regardless, I enjoyed the movie as a movie itself. It's a fun enough movie. There's some really stupid jokes in it, like Patrick Wilson eating a cockroach and finding it delicious, which is kind of nasty, but I don't care. I had a decent enough time with it. Yeah, like a C plus. It was fine. Not nearly the best movie in the DCU, but yeah, it was a fine enough last movie. I kind of got a kick out of it. And I checked out Rye Lane. This one was getting a lot of buzz. It was on Hulu. I believe this one also came out at Sundance. I didn't really care for this one, honestly. This one, it just was really hard to get into for some reason for me. I not really particularly like, have been in like this situation, sort of like what's in this movie, so I couldn't really relate to it, honestly, and it just didn't really fit my kind of movie, honestly. It was fine. I kind of enjoyed it, but it just was kind of disappointing, so like a C for that one, honestly. It was fine. Yeah, I'm glad if that everyone liked it, but it just really wasn't for me, unfortunately. So yeah, and then I checked out Fat Man on Christmas Day. So this was one of the last Christmas movies I watched. I did end up watching a couple Christmas movies, I believe, like after Christmas or something like that. I could be wrong, but yeah, Fat Man with Mel Gibson. This was kind of fun. I enjoyed it. A lot of people were saying like before I watched it that I shouldn't watch it because it's kind of crap, but I liked it. It was a pretty fun little thriller. The Santa Claus in the lead. Kind of a depressing movie too, man. It's kind of sad, but I liked it. It was a pretty fun little movie, even though it's extremely sad. Just yeah, I liked it. B, pretty cool. And I checked out Doug Liman's Go. This one is a Christmas movie actually, because it takes place like sometime in December. There's like Christmas lights everywhere. Uh, Doug Liman, I mean, he's a pretty big name director now. He's directed like, Edge of Tomorrow or Live Die Repeat, whatever the heck you want to call it. Uh, a bunch of like bigger name movies nowadays, and this is just like one of his bigger, like smaller movies that he made, like late '90s, early 2000s. This one was late '90s, like '99, and it was fun. Humor's not really for me. Kind of had like the Clerks type humor, but not. It was like the beta version of Clerks. It was it was kind of fun. I dug it. B plus, B minus, B minus. And then I checked out Theater Camp. Now this one was very much hyped up for me because I used to be a theater kid. Okay, so going into this one, I was like, oh boy, am I gonna get like theater days flashbacks? And I didn't. But yeah, I don't know. Theater is not particularly my thing anymore. But I like this movie because it was kind of relatable. So yeah, B for that one. And then, let's see, I checked out Sanctuary. This one was on Hulu, I believe. I believe this was a Neon movie, and it was dropped on Hulu. So I watched it. I had an okay time with it. it was it was just whatever to me, honestly. It was very weird dialogue, decent performances. It's just like like some of the dialogue just like really catches you off guard, and it's just like not really my thing. Very over sexualized, honestly. C for that one. It was all right. How to blow up a pipeline. This one was very much hyped up for a while. This one had a lot of buzz at the beginning of the year. Like a lot of people were saying, it was like best movie of the year. Definitely not best movie of the year for me, but I did really really like it. Very intense little thriller that like keeps you literally on the edge of your seat the entire time because it's kind of it feels like a one take sequence. Like it feels like the entire movie is like a one take because it has all of these like tracking shots, really well made film, really well acted as well. It's just a little bit too long, honestly, though, and I that's like the only thing that I didn't really like about it is just the pacing's a little slow in parts, but I dug it. I had a good time with it. B plus. Enough said. The Meg 2, The Trench. All right, I might have to do a bad movie review for this one because yikes. Jason Statham, man, what happened to you this year, bud? Expendables and this one? Oof. Yikes. Yeah, this one stank. D minus. Really did not like that one. Uh Michael Mann. All right, Michael Mann really saved me the next day because I checked out Thief. And this one was a really, really good little action thriller, heist movie. Um, I dug it a lot. It's not like 100% a classic to me, but I still really, really enjoyed it. I had to check it out for our upcoming 31 on 31, and this is in the list, so hint, hint. But yeah, I liked it a lot. So B plus, really good movie. And then I also watched Sideways that day, and this one is one of Alexander Payne's first movies, I want to say. So this was like the early 2000s, and I mean, Election came out afterwards, I believe, but or no, not afterwards, before this. Let me just fact check real quick. So yeah, this one was a really, really good one. I I really, really enjoyed it, honestly, and yeah, enough said. It's basically just about two dudes going on a trip through wine country. I dug it a lot. Thomas Hayden Church and Paul Giamatti give like probably their best performances, except for I'd say Paul Giamatti's performance in The Holdovers. But yeah, yeah, amazing movie. I loved this. It gets better the more I think about it, honestly. The Boy and the Heron. So this is supposedly Hayao Miyazaki's final movie. Okay. Uh, this one I'm very conflicted on because on one side, the first half is extremely, extremely uh not fun to get through, but the second half is super emotional, and I was super invested in it like the entire second half of the entire movie. It's just that first half is really frustrating to me because it's like it has a cool premise, cool things going on, great animation, good voice cast. Story makes literally no sense and is super repetitive for some reason in the first half. Second half stays this entire movie for me. Uh, it's a good movie, but not one that I ever want to rewatch. And honestly, might be my least favorite Miyazaki film that I've seen. I haven't seen all of his movies. I know he did like one of the Lupin the Third movies. I it's like Castle Cagliostro or something like that. I don't even know what it's called, but yeah, something like that. But I, Probably my least favorite of his that I've seen. C plus. It good emotional second half. Just not. I just kind of wish it was used for a better movie as a whole. And I watched Anyone But You, so I did a double billing in the theater. So, um, yeah, Anyone But You. I actually had a better time with it than I did Boy in the Heron. I honestly thought that Anyone But You was a lot better of a time to sit through because I mean at least it wasn't like a super confusing first half. Uh, I dug it. I liked it. I mean, me and my buddies go back and forth joking about Sydney Sweeney, how I call her my wife, but regardless, yeah, Sydney Sweeney's great. Glenn Powell, he's awesome. Enough said. I'll give it a B. I liked it. And then I watched It Lives Inside. This is a new, I believe this is a Neon movie. I think it is a Neon horror movie. Um, Honestly, I kind of get why a lot of people really didn't like this movie because, yeesh, it is a weird movie, very tropey, and just honestly not super interesting at all. See, it was whatever. Um, Birth slash Rebirth. Now this one, it was I believe this one premiered in like TIFF, maybe Sundance. I don't know, but it was premiered in one of the film festivals like earlier in the year, and then dropped on Shudder recently. I checked it out. I thought it was pretty good. Very hyper-sexual, weird, like feels like a David Cronenberg movie, but isn't, and is super gory. Do not watch this while you're tired because you'll probably throw up. I was watching this at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was actually ready to get up and go over to the bathroom because I was about to vomit. But yeah, this movie is disgusting. But I mean, it was okay. I liked it, like a B minus. It was okay. It was pretty good. It's pretty good. The Burial. This one was actually a huge surprise because I did not really expect anything from this movie. I mean, I saw the cast. It looked like a good cast. I mean, Jamie Foxx and Tommy Lee Jones. That's enough to sell me regularly. It's just like a story like this didn't really interest me, but I enjoyed it actually. Not my normal like go to kind of movie, but it was a fun little movie. I liked it. Great performances, good writing. It was actually kind of funny in parts. Yeah, I dug it. B. And then I checked out Blackberry. So this one, it's kind of interesting how they how they dropped this one. So it was released in theaters and then went to VOD, and then I think they dropped it on AMC Plus, or yeah, AMC Plus. And for whatever reason, they have like a mini series version of it. So it's like a 3 episode version that was just a re-edited version of the actual movie. So it's literally the exact same length as the movie, just in a mini series format. And I thought that was really strange, but it was kind of cool. Um Seeing it like in episodic form because the story is pretty episodic, I will say. But it's a very fascinating little story about the downfall of a like the first mobile phone company. Uh Scandals, scandalous involved. Very interesting little story, and I dug it. I'll give that one a B plus. And I checked out James Mangold's Copland. So this one has been hyped up for a little while, I believe, and I really dug it. Very cool little movie. James Mangold is the man besides Style of Destiny, but regardless. Anyway, yeah, Copland, really cool little thriller about um, you know corruptness uh, in police force and stuff like that. So, yep, it was pretty good. B plus. And then I checked out Anchorman 2: The Legend Continues. So I am an avid fan of the first Anchorman. I love the first Anchorman. It's one of my favorite comedies of all time. And this one, I was looking forward to watching, but I didn't have a whole lot of trust in it because it's, I heard it was kind of like you either love it or hate it. It's kind of like one of those just like modern day legacy sequels to comedies that just don't really work. And this one kind of worked for me. I enjoyed this one a good bit. I got a good number of laughs out of it. Felt like, classic Anchorman had like the same kind of humor to it that I dug. B minus. I liked it. Sue me. I kind of enjoyed it. It's just Steve Carell's character got really annoying in this one for some reason. Even though he delivered some really funny lines, he just got really irritating by the end. Um, but yeah, regardless, pretty good movie. I liked it. Yeah. Nocturnal Animals. This one has been hyped up to me for the longest time. I've heard like people comparing it to Nightcrawler in terms of quality, and it's not as good as Nightcrawler, but it's still pretty darn good. Very well directed movie. Some of the editing is just a little bit choppy, and the dialogue in some parts is a little rough, but I, really dug it still. B. One of the DreamWorks animated movies that I hadn't seen until New Year's Eve was when I watched this because it was leaving Netflix. The Road to El Dorado. Now, I was not warned that this one was a musical, but it is a musical, and I really enjoyed it. Fun time. Yeah, I liked it a lot. B plus. And the final first time watch. We're getting through the first time watches finally. Uh, The Deer Hunter. Really, really great little Vietnam War movie. Study of, um, really good study of, Vietnam War heroes that just don't return the same when they come back to, their home. And it's just really, really dark and bleak, but it's a very, very good movie. An A for that one. One of the better movies that I watched last year in general, honestly. Really dug it. Anyway, on to the stuff that I received as a gift or bought last month. So yeah, we're gonna go through three different categories here. So actually, four different categories. My bad. Um, so video games, books, vinyls, and movies. So movies, there's a lot of movies that will just like fly through, and regardless, we're gonna just fly through these because I don't want to be here too much longer because it's pretty late where I'm at the time of filming this. So yeah, regardless, let's get into this. So first things first, we have Nintendo Switch games. So we have Red Dead Redemption. This one came out on the Switch, I think in like November or something like that. This one was like $50 or something like that. It dropped down in price on the online shop, but I honestly just still didn't want to pay, like the $15 less that it was for using up more storage on my Switch because the internal hard drive only has 32 gigs, so if I downloaded that off the eShop, it would probably take up like the entire storage, like the hard drive unit. So yeah, good to stick with like the physical games. Pikmin 1 and 2, I love the first. Actually, the only Pikmin game I've played is 3, but I do love 3, so I wanted to check out the other ones, and I received these for Christmas. So yeah, that was awesome. And then also to go along with that, Pikmin 4. I can't wait to play these games. I've started a little bit of Pikmin 1. I mean, not nearly as advanced as 3 is, but yeah, I still really enjoyed the first one like the little bit that I played of the first one. So yeah, PS3 games. So yes, I still use my PS3 to play games sometimes, like for older games that I want to get into. And I was recommended to play the Fallout games, and I asked for Fallout New Vegas for Christmas, so I received that one for Christmas. Started playing that one. Pretty weird game, but I need to get into it more. So yeah, those are the video games. So into the books. So we have three books here. One of them I received for Christmas. The other two I bought with gift cards that I got. So we have Michael Crichton's Jurassic Park. Now this one, I love the movie. Obviously, the movie is a classic, one of Steven Spielberg's best movies. and I have not read the book, and I've heard that the book is a classic, so I need to read this damn book. Next up, we have a series of short stories by Stephen King's son, so Joe Hill. And if you don't know, Joe Hill was the dude who wrote the short story for The Black Phone. And so when I saw The Black Phone on the front cover of this, I needed to buy it because I love The Black Phone. I didn't realize it was actually like a short story. I thought it was like a novella, and that's what I thought this was. I didn't read The Black Phone stories. Regardless, though, I need to read all of these. I started reading the actual like Black Phone story, and I really like it. I'm like more than halfway through. I think I only have like a couple more pages left of the story that I need to read. It's only like like 20 pages long or something like that. So I probably could finish this in like a night, not even like in 20 minutes. So yeah, I need to finish that one, and then yes, I am using a Pokemon card as my bookmark. Yeah. Anyway, then one that I started reading as well, I've only gotten like 5 pages in, is this big boy, Bram Stoker's Dracula. So this is the original Dracula book. Uh, I'm really liking it so far. I was interested because I really like the Francis Ford Coppola Dracula movie. I mean, that's like the main adaptation of this bad boy. And then also Last Voyage of the Demeter that came out last year. I enjoyed that movie, even though a lot of people didn't. That's supposed to be like the first couple chapters of this bad boy. So yeah, I think it's like the first chapter or like the first like 5 chapters or something like that. Because from what I could tell, like at the in the like the glossary, it was like 5 chapters of the captain's log, and I think that's what it's supposed to be. But yeah. Anyways, on to the vinyls. So we have a hefty stack of vinyls that I got here. So most of these, I believe, were Christmas gifts. So yeah, we'll run through these real quick. So I got my first single on vinyl. So we have the Beatles, Now and Then. So this is their final song. All right. And this song is fantastic, by the way. And also, this is a two-sider, so it's gonna have one song on the other side, or one song on one side and the other side will either be blank or have another song. So this one has Now and Then on side A, and then Love Me Do on side B, which Love Me Do was like their first big hit. So yeah, love that. And then it's a nice little like sky blue disc, so I like it a lot. Um, yeah, really great song. Uh, of all songs to be like their final song, it actually really fits. So, yeah, really glad that I got this. So this is like my first 7-incher, I believe these are. So yeah, glad I own that one. And then I got a couple of rap albums. So I got both of them from the same artist. So we got Savage Mode 2 by 21 Savage and Metro Boomin, and then what is this one called? I Am Greater Than I Was by 21 Savage. So I have a running joke because there was this party that I went to that I tattooed a cross on my forehead, and 21 Savage has a cross tattooed on his forehead. So someone drew that as like a fake tattoo on my forehead. So now I just have a running joke that I'm 21 Savage. So I like those albums a lot too. So yeah. Anyway, Toxicity by System of a Down. System of a Down is one of my favorite bands of all time. I'm a metalhead. Badass album. Love that. Uh, Most of these, I believe, aren't colored vinyls. Besides Savage Mode 2, I believe that one's a red vinyl. So yeah, so these bigger size ones are not colored. Most of them, at least. Uh, Elvis's Christmas album. I was given this because my grandpa had 2 copies of this, so he's had these for a long time. So this is like like original, like old record that actually still works. So yeah, got that one. And then this one was also a gift. So I got this one at the same time as I did Now and Then. So the Rolling Stones' new album, Hackney Diamonds. I have not listened to this one yet. I've heard. Actually, I haven't really heard a whole lot about this one, but I'm interested in it because I really like the Stones. So yeah, this one is just a one discer, I believe, but it's a green disc. Look at this. This is really neat. I like this a lot. It's like, yeah, fluorescent, like green, um, translucent, not fluorescent, translucent. Yeah. Really dig the vinyl itself. I haven't listened to the album itself, but yeah, I'm looking forward to listening to that one though, for sure. And then, final one of these, we have Rob Zombie's Hellbilly Deluxe. I'm a huge Rob Zombie fan. Got this one, and I love this album as well. So, yep, love Rob Zombie. His movies are another story, but yeah, his movies are interesting to say the least. But his music is awesome. Anyways, time for the movies. So, first things first, the stuff that I got outside of Christmas. So, I got stuff before and stuff after, but this is like everything that I got surrounding Christmas. So, not Christmas, but everything else. So, first, TV show, The Last of Us. I love this show. This first season is literally one of the best things I've ever seen. Best video game adaptation ever. Yeah, I mean, in contention, maybe Gran Turismo. I love that movie, but it's not gonna touch this amazing freaking show. Love that show to death. And second season's supposed to be filming this year, so probably next year we'll get that second season. The Faculty. This one, this one I watched last year for the first time. So yeah, I was blanking on that. Sorry. Yeah, I watched this one for the first time last year. Really dug it. Just kind of like, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but in a high school. So I liked it a lot. The Bodyguard. This one may or may not be part of 31 on 31 in May. So yeah, look out for that one. I haven't seen that one yet though. I think that's like the only one I haven't seen off the list, besides maybe one or two. But yeah, Scent of a Woman, Al Pacino. I haven't seen that one, but I've heard really good things about that one. The Naked Gun, found this one at a Dollar Tree, and I believe the next two were there as well. So yeah, Naked Gun from the Files of the Police Squad. Heard nothing but hilarious things about this one, so I'm looking forward to watching that. Vampire's Kiss, also from Dollar Tree. I'm looking forward to watching it because it has the Nick Cage meme. I don't remember what the meme exactly is, but I'll try and pop it up on the screen. Yeah. Out of the Furnace. Who directed this one? Scott Cooper. Okay, Scott Cooper. He directed a movie recently that I really dug. I don't remember what it was though. But he's been popping up in like a bunch of like in my feed a lot recently, of like movies to check out. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. I think he did Hostiles however many years ago. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that one. Heard that one is actually kind of nuts. So yeah. Then a movie that I didn't own for some reason, and I just figured that out, and I was like, oh, I better get my hands on that. The Lighthouse. Ordered this one off Amazon. Came with a slipcover too, which is actually like minty as hell. Love this slipcover. And yeah, fantastic movie. I rewatched that one recently, and my opinion has jumped drastically. I love that movie. Dumb Money. Saw this one in the theaters, and this movie is awesome. I don't care what anyone says. It rules. Last Voyage of the Demeter. So this is actually gifted to me by the same person who gifted me Dracula. So Bram Stoker's Dracula. So it was actually the person that I went to go see this movie with. So shout out to them. They're a real one. If you're watching this, thank you guys. And yeah, Last Voyage of the Demeter. I really like the movie. I'm enjoying the book so far. So yeah. Technically, that was a Christmas gift, but I received it beforehand because they live out of town, mailed it to me, got it early, so yeah. And also from that same person, Indiana Jones and Dial of Destiny, the last Indiana Jones movies, and the last of them that I needed to buy, and I like the movie. I like it. I'm very conflicted on it though, because the third act is, the third act is where you make or break a movie. The very ending is good. The actual third act itself, yeah, it's one of those. Green Lantern. Green Lantern. I can't not laugh about this movie because this movie is laughably bad. It had a green case and Ryan Reynolds. That's about it. That's about it. Carlito's Way. This one, Al Pacino, Brian De Palma. I'm looking forward to watching this one. I haven't seen it yet, so I'll probably watch it at some point this year. But yeah, need to watch that one. And then this is a big set of a TV show. I didn't actually buy the entire series of the entire set of the show, but I have like the first 5 seasons or something like that, and this is completing it. So, season 6 of 24. I really dig this show. I've only seen like 4 episodes of it, but I own all of it, so I need to finish watching it. So yeah, there's that. Season 7 of 24. Again, I've only seen 4 episodes, but I really dig it. Season 8. Technically, the final season, but there's another one that was like 10 episodes long, so Live Another Day, the 10 episode thing, 12 episode thing. I don't even know. I don't even know why it's called 24, because it takes place over 12 hours instead of 24, but whatever. Anyway, last movie for this little pile. We have The Game. So these last couple I got like at a Goodwill. So yeah, The Game. I like this one. Not David Fincher's best, but I dig it. It's pretty cool. Well directed, pretty well acted, cool story, cool premise and everything. But yeah, it just didn't really interest me, honestly. So yeah, this pile's out of the way. So let's move on to the next one. Christmas. I can't move this pile without knocking it over. Anyway, okay, let me set this down. We'll get right into the Christmas movies. Woohoo, yippee. Most of these aren't actually Christmas movies, but still. Either way, we have 3 4Ks in a row. So these ones I wanted to buy because I thought they would be like reference quality, and yeah, they're reference quality. Gran Turismo, I wanted these on 4K because, thought they were reference quality. Yeah. Gran Turismo, love this movie. Very, very good movie. Very big surprise, too. I did not expect this one to be as good as it was. The Creator, saw all 3 of these in the theater, by the way. So yeah, The Creator, main reason I wanted this 4K. Okay. Has Dolby Atmos, so it's like the highest bar you can get for audio on your surround sound, I believe. Checked it out, put it on my big ass 4K TV with the speakers and everything, and it sounds amazing. Visual wise, fantastic. Audio wise, otherworldly experience, man. Holy crap. Like the Radiohead, the part where they play the Radiohead song, I don't remember what it's called. Everything in its right place. Whenever they play that in the movie, not even kidding, room was shaking because of that bass noise, man. Holy crap. Oppenheimer, another room shaker. I have a sound bar, 2 mini speakers that go with the sound bar, and then the subwoofer. And that subwoofer had my room literally shaking to the point that my dog, who was upstairs in my house, could hear the bomb exploding. the bomb explosion. Like, it wasn't even the actual bomb explosion. It was the thing at the very beginning when it's like right before the plot begins. It was the little visions that he has and whatever at the very beginning of the movie. My dog was like, he was barking, the house was shaking, everything. Ugh, crazy, crazy movie. Saw X, the best Saw sequel, like bar none. I mean, I love two, but this is a good bit better than two. Even I really enjoyed two a lot. Love the first one. This is the second best one. Yeah. Fat Man, already talked about this one. I dig it. I don't care what anyone says. Again, a movie that I don't care what anyone else says about it. Five Nights at Freddy's. I kind of love this movie, even though it's got flaws. Kind of love it. Yeah. Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. Just Dead Reckoning. Just Dead Reckoning. Yeah. They're changing the title. I'm not even going to call it Part 1. Even though I don't even know how they're going to do it because all of the posters that they released this year, and it was a pretty big movie. I don't even know how they're going to change the name just to Dead Reckoning. But regardless, Daybreakers. This is from the Spierig brothers. So these are the guys who made Jigsaw. So speaking of Saw X, or speaking of Saw, yeah, they made Jigsaw. So the Saw prequel thing. I don't even know where that takes place in the universe. It's so confusing. But yeah, they made that, and then also a movie that we'll talk about in the next little pile that I have. So yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. Very cool little sci-fi horror concept of basically what if vampires were like the majority of the population and humans were running out of supply, so then they were running out of blood to drink and everything like that, so then they find a way to turn vampires back into humans, and it's really, really cool. Really enjoyed that movie. We have Prey. I love Predator. I love this movie when it dropped on Hulu. The Predator franchise is hit and miss, but regardless, there's some real true bangers in that series. I mean, this one, the original, is one of the most perfect movies ever. It's like the perfect 3-act structure. Love that movie. If I was to teach like a film study class of like how to write a movie, how to have like the perfect 3-act structure, it would be based around Predator, man, because you have almost three different stories, but they all revolve around one, big resulting story. And honestly, I think it's genuinely a fantastic script and an amazing movie in general. And Prey is awesome. This movie is sick. I love that movie. Mid-90s, another movie that I love. So this is Jonah Hill's directorial debut. I don't even know if he's directed anything else besides this movie, but regardless, we don't like to talk about Jonah Hill apparently now because he said some goofy stuff. I don't know. I wasn't keeping track of that, but I just heard a little bit about it. That was it. Weird, the Al Yankovic Story, one of my favorite movies from 2022. I think this movie is a hilarious movie. It just got a domestic release over here in the States. So yeah, thank you, Shout Factory. Thank you for releasing it on 4K even. Who knew? So now I don't have to watch this with ads. That's awesome. Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. This movie's awesome. Saw it in theaters. Loved it. Enough said. I posted a short review for it, I think. I could be wrong. Blue Beetle. This was a really fun time. A lot better than I expected it to be. Not amazing. I think some people that really love this movie are hyping it up a little bit too much for what it is, but it's what you'd think that it would be pretty generic, but honestly, it takes like the generic side of things and kind of spices it up a little bit, but still has a lot of generic stuff that's kind of holding it back a little bit. But regardless, pretty fun movie. Krampus. Rewatched that one recently, and I enjoyed that one a lot more than the first time I watched it. Black Christmas. Christmas classic. Didn't own it. Really wanted it for Christmas. And I got it. Yippee. Equalizer 3. Love this movie. Not love it. Really like it. I really like the franchise as a whole. Denzel Washington's awesome. I love the first movie, so went to go see that one in the theaters with a couple of friends, and we really enjoyed it. So yeah. All right. So these ones, wrapping it out here. Woof. Almost lost these for a second. These were from my aunt and uncle. They're awesome. Really wasn't expecting to get all of these from them. And also they got me that Fallout game, which, yeah, thank you guys. Really was not expecting to get all these from you guys, but yeah. Anyway, Murder on the Orient Express. The third of these movies come out, the Hercule Poirot trilogy. I guess now it's a trilogy. They might be coming out with a fourth one. I'm not really sure, but yeah. So this is the first one of the three that we've gotten so far. So this is Kenneth Branagh's Agatha Christie detective story adaptations, all from like the same detective. Hercule Poirot is the dude's name, and Kenneth Branagh plays the main dude. He directs the movies. I think that they're quite a bit of fun, honestly. Rewatching that one, it was a lot better than I remember. Not amazing, but yeah, it's probably my second favorite of the three, though. And this one's my least favorite of the three, but I still enjoy it. Death on the Nile. Um, Gal Gadot is literally the only thing that I remember this movie for. I just remember this one as the movie that Gal Gadot's in. So yeah, I enjoy it though. It's a fun time. And then L.A. Confidential. I've never seen this movie. Heard great things about it though. So yeah, looking forward to it. Whenever I get around to that. Big Lebowski. I already own this one. It's somewhere. I somewhere on this shelf right here. I don't know exactly where it's at on there, but I need to take that one off the shelf and put this up there because now I have a better copy of it. One that has hopefully subtitles because my DVD copy of it didn't have subtitles for some reason and had a really bad audio track, so I just need to upgrade. And I also believe it was like a weird cropping as well. For I don't know. Anyway, Predestination. Like I said, we're gonna talk about the Spielberg brothers again. This is another Spielberg brothers movie. I think that they're awesome with sci-fi, not so much other stuff, but yeah. I mean, if Jigsaw was really even their like creation, because that was their only bad movie that they've made besides Winchester. So just go back to sci-fi, guys. I don't know. Stop sticking in the goofy horror realm, man. I believe they did Winchester. I could be wrong, but yeah. Insidious. James Wan. This is one of the couple of James Wan movies I don't own yet. I didn't own yet. Really glad I have that one though, because that was a pretty cool movie. It took me a rewatch to fully enjoy that one, but yeah. Malignant. This is one of my favorite James Wan movies, actually. I love this movie. Fantastic little horror movie that is really, really gory and really awesome. And finally, wrapping it out with one of my actual personal favorite TV shows, at least this first season is, we have Peacemaker. I've been meaning to get this one for a while actually, because this one came out last year at this point, and or no, 2 years ago at this point, because it was 2022 when this released, and I loved watching it week to week. The first 3 episodes dropped at one time. And I was like, I'm sold, man. This is really cool. The last episode, it doesn't really stick the landing 100%, but I really enjoy the show as a whole. James Gunn. One of the main things I really wish they didn't cancel the DCEU for, even though DCEU, it was a failed concept from the start because it wasn't even supposed to be a universe. It was just supposed to be a like a Superman one-off story with Man of Steel. So it's kind of weird how they resulted in a universe from that and then just rushed it from the start. It's like, I don't know why they decided to do that, but just to catch up with the MCU, maybe, like, even though they're only 5 years behind. I don't know, man. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, that's everything. So thank you guys for watching. If you've stuck it all the way through, thank you so much. These videos are always pretty fun to make. Just sit down and talk about everything that I watched in a month and just chill and have a good time. So yeah, if you've made it all the way through, seriously, thank you so much. You guys are the best. So yeah, like and subscribe, share the video to your friends, and I'll see you guys next time. So peace out.